It's the first clap in the new space, mate.
Yeah, and she's got some echo to it as well.
Does.
Apologies in advance to Brady, our humble sound tech, for this vent that is over here that seems to open up to the whole lobby for this floor.
To the void.
Yeah, to the void. It really does.
Yeah. So, last episode for the year, mate.
Last episode for the year. New office as well. So, is a first and a last at the same time.
Same couch.
But we've still got the same couch. We couldn't do away with the couch. Have we named the couch? Should we name the couch?
If we put it out to the people, it's coming back as Couch Him Couch Face.
Couch Him Couch Face. And we can't call it Greenie because that's
literally the guy who owns it.
Yeah, the guy who owns it, yeah. Yeah. Maybe, is that why he bought it?
It was part of the decision. He didn't buy it per se.
Yep.
Mitch bought it.
Right.
With the express thing that it was green and he wanted it to go with that his name is Green.
Yeah. All right.
So it does play a part for sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
No, well, I mean, we do need to name the couch, but I'm not clever enough to come up with something cool. So if anyone's got any suggestions, anything but Couch Him Couch Face, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
I feel like we might have already asked this question before and then just forgot about it.
I'm sort of going down the line of like maybe calling it like David Lynch or something like that because of it's not Green Velvet, but he made a movie called Blue Velvet.
That's a long bow to draw.
Or maybe Alana Miles for Black Velvet. I don't know.
What about yeah, I don't know. I'm just not very good at this. I'm not very good at naming inanimate objects. Some people really love it.
Yeah,
Some
true.
people are really good at naming like boats and shit.
Bodie McBoatface.
Well, yeah. Okay, fair enough. Full circle. But yeah, there's some.
Or it's like Dexter's boat, Slice of Life.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly
Like
right.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. And fuck, man. Actually, this is something I wanted to bring up.
All right, here we go.
Hang on. Where are we as
Let's do
well,
it.
time wise? Because we didn't set up the clock. We're at 7:30, right?
Okay, cool.
Right, not to ruin the illusion because this comes out at 7 in the morning. But
Yeah, I'm sure people thought this was absolutely live.
yeah, absolutely live. Here we are every morning, 7 a.m. dedicated. No, so I was having a big chat on the weekend about, and I'm already going to be probably offending some people.
Oh God.
Is not really.
Okay.
If you have a personalized number plate, you're not my friend, and you'll never be my friend.
Yeah.
It's not that I fundamentally have a problem with people wanting to have, if you've got like a collector's car, and if you got like a Aston Martin with DB1 for the number plate or something like that. That's fine. I get that. That's part of the collector's thing. But if you're like the guy that my mate sent me that had a Monaro that had in debt on the front of it, or there was a car in Gladstone that we'd see all the time that had LMFAO and a smiley face as their number plate. If you're that person,
jackass.
you're a fucking jackass. And I don't have a lot of time for you.
Yeah, no.
And the money that you're spending on that is fair enough. It's your money. Spend your money how you want. But it just seems a bit heinous to me that that's such an important thing to some people that probably could, if you, hey, that $5,000 shitbox you got doesn't need a personalised plate, brother.
Yeah, my sister has
them. Be
them.
a bit safer on the road.
My sister has personalised number plates, but they were like a gift from her friends for her 21st.
That's different. I can deal with that.
But also, the way I see it is like you're gifting someone like a bill every year.
Yeah, because it costs more to renew your rego. Yeah, right. That's like giving someone like a puppy or something like that for a gift.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're just like, hey, here's this life to take care of.
Ongoing cost.
Yeah.
So I didn't really understand that gift, but I was like,
yeah. I got one friend.
Cool, thanks. You make me pay above the minimum that I need to.
Yeah.
For this.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. Here's a recurring cost. Fuck you. No, I love you and I thought about you, but also fuck you. I had a friend, I will say, his parents bought him for his, he had got like a, new Falcon, and his parents bought him his last name on the number plate.
Okay.
Pollard, which is 7 letters, which would have cost them a fucking mint. Would have been like $3 or $4 grand for this set of plates.
Yeah.
But so that's his number plate is a 7-letter number. And I go, it looks cool. I'll give him that. Like, that's kind of cool. But I don't get it when people get like their 3 initials and then the year they were born or whatever. Like, this is why? Why do you need that? Anyway, it's one of those mildly infuriating things.
Yeah, agreed.
So that's.
But also sometimes it just really helps you identify real fucking jerk offs. Like,
Yeah, that too. There's some little red flags.
Like that whole thing, like In Debt, or, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
like, you're a jackass.
I saw one that was one hot V8.
Imagine.
That guy spends a lot of time stroking it.
Oh my God.
Or woman, or new person. It could be anyone. But
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you have to be a dude to have that number plate. But you know, it's a fair roll of the dice.
It's a fair bet. Yeah. My goodness. Just quickly backtracking to Dexter.
Yes.
I mentioned Dexter before. Have you started watching Cold Blood?
No, I haven't, because the way I watched Dexter was, and I watched it the same way that everyone should watch it, is I stopped at season 4.
Oh, okay.
Because, you know, I think it's been long enough we can say the spoiler alert for Dexter, if you haven't watched the original series that came out 10, 15 years ago.
Yep.
End of the 4th season, his wife, Rita, dies.
Yeah.
And
his son Harrison is left in a pool of blood, in much the same he was. As he was. You know what? You could actually, short of a couple of details that happen in the very last season, very last episode, you could pick up watching Cold Blood because you've seen the Trinity Killer part.
Right.
That's kind of all you need to know.
Okay.
Save for, and how much do you know about the last season, or at least the last episode, other than that it's a bit shit?
That he goes and becomes like a lumberjack or something.
Okay, that's the very, very end of it, right?
Yeah.
But do you want it spoiled? Or
no, I don't care. I'm never going to watch the rest of it. I got 3 episodes into season 5 and I went, I just don't actually
Is that the one with Jimmy Smits?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Because
anyway.
I started watching it and I was like, now I kind of, there's less stakes for me now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, anyway, so by the time season 9 rolls around, Harrison's about 5,
right,
or so. He's not a baby anymore. He's got a new girlfriend called Hannah, who is also a serial killer.
Right,
but she makes poisons out of plants. So she's like, and
poison ivy, yeah,
sort of, and so she kills people by, she'll make something that if you touch it and it absorbs into your skin, it's like really untraceable type stuff, right? And so he comes across her investigating a murder, and he figures it out due to her personality. He's like, oh, she's like me.
Yeah.
It's her, but I don't have the evidence yet. And then he originally goes to kill her, as is his code.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you fit the profile. And he goes to do it, but he just can't. He's like just way too attracted to her.
Right.
And then like, as this dance that happens all the way through season 9, like she almost kills him a bunch of times. He almost kills her a bunch of times, but they never get around to it. Then they're like, this is stupid. We obviously like each other. We should be together. So they do. And then I can't remember who the killer. This is why season 9 kind of sucks a little bit. I can't actually remember the major villain.
Yeah.
This is the more interesting part of it. And so by the end of the season, whoever the major villain is has an errant gunshot has hit Deb.
Yeah.
And Deb is basically brain dead.
Right.
And she's in a coma. And Dexter's like pretty on the verge of being caught.
Yeah.
There's a massive tropical storm rolling in. And he takes advantage of that. He gives Harrison to Hannah and gives her these fake passports and all this sort of stuff and goes, right, take him to Argentina. Don't come back.
Yeah.
Go and live down there, look after Harrison. He takes Deb's body in the confusion of like the evacuation of the hospital.
Right.
Takes her out into the bay.
Yep.
When there's a typhoon or hurricane coming.
Yep.
Tosses her body over and then somehow fakes his own death.
Yep.
Lets the slice of life get destroyed. He disappears and moves up into the hills and becomes a lumberjack. And the last shot is him just sitting in isolation in his little house in the woods with a beard.
Yep. And that's
the end of the season, right?
Yeah.
Not many people liked that.
Yeah.
So when they said they were doing a season 10, everyone was like, are they gonna? Is this like a reboot? What is it? And they're like,
They're gonna
no. This is
backtrack.
everything is canon.
Yeah,
everything absolutely happened. So new season starts up. He's in a place called Iron Creek.
Yeah, I have seen the trailer for it.
Sorry, Iron Lake.
Yeah, and
and like Deb's now his dark passenger, not his father.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Which I really like. He's got like a different dark passenger for sort of every stage of his life kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like he's on to a new phase in his life and he's now got Deb as his conscience kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah.
And now Harrison is 15 and he's come seeking out Dad.
Right. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, because I wasn't super about the fact them revisiting it. Just like it don't feel like there's a lot of TV shows that really justify being like revisited. I never saw Twin Peaks, but I know that the idea behind Twin Peaks was that like they brought it back in canon with like the end of it. There's like a some sort of countdown they set up at the end of the show, and then they come back. They're like, someone goes to jail for 20 years. I don't know. I've never seen the fucking show. I have no idea. All I know is everyone was frothing about the fact that there was like a something in 20 years, and then 20 years later they brought the show back in line with that. Like that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
But I saw that they're bringing more Dexter out, and I'm like, oh, do we really need that? But then I watched the trailer, and I was like, it's filmed slightly differently.
Yep.
It looks like a different show.
The opening credits are no longer relevant, so they no longer exist.
Right.
So like, because if you remember the opening credits, they're all set around him cooking breakfast in his home in Miami.
Yeah.
Like, it would seem really silly
to use the same ones.
I will say though, I do miss the theme song.
I don't even remember it. Hey. Yeah, okay.
And it's him like cooking bacon and eggs, and everything looks like there's just references to blood everywhere.
Yeah.
And like everything in it is like, it's like him like cutting things and slashes of sauce on it, and eggs dripping down his chin, and he's like pushing the plunger down on the coffee, and it looks like there's sharp things going down, cutting the blood orange, and there's like spray from the blood orange going. He mashes the blood orange.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
Are you the guy that watches the intro every time?
Nah.
Right.
I watch it, but if you remember Dexter, it came out way before the streaming thing.
Yeah, if you're watching it live.
I would always torrent Dexter. So you kind of have to watch it. And I hate
clicking through, scrubbing. Yeah,
I hate doing that. And then you miss a bit, and then you got to go back. And
the day that I opened Netflix and I saw there was a skip intro button, I was like, "Where has this been all my fucking life?" Because I used to complain about torrenting things and then having to skip through.
Do you know what I do love about it though? The first episode of every season you can't. The skip intro is not available on the first episode.
Yeah, that's
of every. Fair. And I was like, that's cool because at least you see the credits at least once.
Well, I remember binge watching the show Misfits, the British one,
British show,
with with Brady, the sound guy, our lovable sound guy, and he had it worked out on his keyboard that like when you hit it'd jump forward 10 seconds or whatever. Yeah, it would jump forward like an amount of time, and so he knew how long the thing was, and so it was always like 2 taps. And you're into the next fucking thing,
Amazing.
Yeah. So we had that worked out. But then when the keyboard was too far away, you were always like, really sad. Yeah.
And so you saw Dune, mate.
Dune, I want to talk about Dune.
Yeah.
So heavy Dune spoilers for anyone that has no idea what Dune is. I had no idea what Dune was. As in like, I knew about...
You knew that it existed in pop culture.
Exactly. Yeah. I'd seen fucking...
You knew there was a book. You knew there was a movie in the 80s.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And really all that I knew about it was that it was going to be epic because it was directed by...
Denis Villeneuve.
That's how you say that name. Yeah. And weird thing.
Yeah. So already tonight we've mentioned 2 David Lynch things.
Yeah.
Blue Velvet and Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
But then also linking thing.
All
right. Kyle MacLachlan.
Yeah.
In the original Dune movie.
Yeah.
And in Twin Peaks.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he? There you go. Pricey with the connect the dots.
with the IMDb, baby.
Oh.
Actually, I used to play a game prior to IMDb. I made like years and years ago. I was part of we did like a short film with a bunch of uni friends.
Yep.
And while we were on set and we were like just sitting around waiting, we'd play like 6 degrees of like Kevin Bacon.
And that was the thing you sent me yeah.
And so like I reckon prior to the MCU, we'll get back to Dune in a second.
Yeah, for sure.
Prior to the MCU and like big networks of like of sequels and all that sort of stuff, much harder game.
Yeah, right.
The MCU now links so many people.
Right. Yeah.
Like whereas prior to all of that, if you wanted to go
Why
like
Kevin Bacon?
Well, there was because you could connect any actor. Like we actually removed the Kevin Bacon thing, and you just name 2 actors, and you go like, right, connect them.
Yeah.
So you might go, okay, Alec Guinness and Sally Field.
Yeah.
How do you go from Alec Guinness to Sally Field?
Oh fuck, man! Sally Field is a little bit out of my wheelhouse because I think she.
Okay.
I couldn't actually name a movie she was in.
All right, Forrest Gump. There you go. There's one. It'll start you off. Go from Alec Guinness to Forrest Gump.
Oh shit. Well, so Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Would have been.
So Alec Guinness in Star Wars with
I
Harrison
haven't seen
Ford.
Forrest Gump either.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
See, I'm bad.
But
for
you know
this.
it has Tom Hanks in it, man.
I'm yeah, no.
You work backwards.
I know, but my problem with this game is that I don't have that at the top of my head.
Okay.
I'm more of like I'm a credits guy rather than I am a.
Well, how about I try and demonstrate it? Then?
Okay, yeah,
Let's see if I can do it.
You do that one.
So Alec Guinness to Sally Field, right?
Yeah.
Same thing. All right. Alec Guinness was in Star Wars with Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford was in.
So you got to think like 4 steps ahead.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not smart enough for this, Tim.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Harrison Ford was in. Let's say. Harrison Ford was in Indiana Jones with Sean Connery. Sean Connery was in Entrapment with Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Mm-hmm. So you can back yourself into a corner so easy.
How am I getting from Catherine Zeta-Jones to Tom Hanks?
That's the thing, though, is I would
Catherine
name...
Zeta-Jones was in
I can't name another
Mask of
Catherine Zeta.
Zorro with Antonio Banderas. Antonio Banderas has to have been in a movie with Tom Hanks somewhere. That's the link that you got to find.
Yeah, and see, that's where I would back myself at. For me, it's thinking so many steps ahead. Like, I think it's a cool game, and I'd love to play it, but I don't think I have the chops to think
it's
6
tough.
steps ahead.
It's tough, man. It's much easier. And like this is how you challenge people by you choose people from like heaps different eras.
Yeah.
So you might go like
Then you've got
Frank
a hop, skip,
Sinatra
jump.
to Selena Gomez, go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that you got to pick a movie where like one person was significantly old playing in a movie that's like of a newer generation to jump a couple of steps.
But then you've still got to be able to get from them to that. Yeah, it really blows my mind how people are really good at that. I like the game better that you were talking about the other day, where it was like it's just a almost celebrity head sort of thing, but it's you get 5 questions and how many points you get depends on how few questions you
took to get to the.
So
yeah.
if someone says like it's Alec Baldwin and the first like the first hint or the first clue is I'm an American
actor.
That's
literally
actor.
that's literally, and you just take
you get
a
5 points. But then if you have to go to I'm a male,
I have 3 brothers.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, okay.
Yeah, but that'd be like 2 or 3 points or whatever. Yeah.
June.
Well, backtracking just before that, talking about connecting dots and talking about just putting things together. This is a totally random anecdote, but it makes me laugh so fucking hard every time. My wife's dad, my father-in-law, used to be a journalist, and part of being a journalist was reading a lot of newspapers and shit.
Yep, makes sense.
And there was one time that he saw a connected dot in a newspaper that was in like a where was he? He was somewhere where he'd already seen one and it had already been filled out. He must have been like in a waiting room or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's opened up this thing and there's this connect the dots and it doesn't make a picture.
Oh.
It's like random dots and someone's filled it out and he's looking at it and he's just crying laughing because he's thinking about the poor kid that's gone to do this connect the dot and expecting it to be a dinosaur or something like that. And it's just a big squiggle and a mess and it doesn't make any sense.
Did someone just do it totally wrong?
Sad and confused that child must be that they're like, I did it all right. And it isn't anything. And like, unless you've got the adult there to be like, well, that's not how that's supposed to be. That kid has gone, I can't even do fucking connect the dot right. It's so upsetting.
Dear, oh dear.
But
someone's brain broke that day.
Yeah, fucking, that's so, and because he takes humor in such absurd things. Like you could say that to him today. Remember that connect the dot you found that
he
didn't connect?
Lose it.
He'd fucking lose it.
Wow.
Yeah, he's great. Love it.
June to connect the dots.
Yeah, well, I had to connect quite a few dots actually because there's a lot of lore there that I'm not privy to, and the director did a really fantastic job of laying it all out there without making the exposition feel forced to me.
Yeah.
You know, and especially when you watch like an action movie where like you kind of already know all the it's a tropey movie, you understand all the tropes, but then they bother to be like, oh my God, that must mean that he did this, or like, oh, there's blood over there, so blah, 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 blah. And you're like, shut the fuck up. We all know. We all understand. You don't need to say that. It's
that's for the cheap seats.
Yeah, it makes it harder to swallow. Whereas with this, I think he wasn't too heavy-handed with it. He still made it feel like you were getting the story, but without, because books are so good at giving you that backstory without making it part of the narrative.
So I've not seen the movie bar the first 20 minutes or so, but my background on it was I hadn't read the book, but I had a friend at high school there was like a, do you remember those games like the original Warcraft and Command and Conquer and that sort of stuff that was like the top-down sort of like click and point strategy games?
Yep.
There was a Dune one of those.
Right.
And there was a lot of like, like the sort of 16-bit cut scenes where it's like, a character like, hey.
Yeah.
Glad you're here.
Yeah.
And like, you need to select your team, like that sort of thing. And so you go through and it's, and so I knew like those key words, like things like the planet Arrakis and House Atreides and that they were mining spice and the big, the Shai Hulud and, all of that sort of stuff. Like,
dude, yesterday I learnt the band Shai Hulud was a Dune reference.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like there was a Hard Times article that I saw that was like, essentially brace for the new 300 hardcore bands that are looking for the deepest Dune references they can find.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, now that there's a movie out, it's like, okay, so what was the name on the back of that ship that got blown up in 2 seconds? That's our new name.
Yeah. So I was semi-familiar, and I haven't seen the original 80s movie either, but I'm aware that it's like almost like a low budget classic. Like it's it's not the best movie ever, but it's got a cult status.
I want to know, because in none of for this new movie, none of the marketing for it suggested that it was a part one.
Yeah, true.
But when you go to the movie,
and it ends pretty suddenly, right?
When it first opens, it comes up with the name Dune, and then it says part one underneath it, and that was the first time anywhere that I'd seen that it was going to be a trilogy.
Did you wonder at that point, seeing it, if it meant that like sort of halfway through the movie, screen would go black and then it'd say part two, or did you think there must be a sequel?
Oh, no, it was very clear that it was, hey, this movie is the first part.
Okay.
It was like Dune part. It wasn't like the title and then like chapter one or whatever, where it feels like you get a few different stages in a movie. And it did wrap up reasonably well. But like, I'll say that there was a point in the movie, like probably 20 minutes before the end, where it felt like I knew it had been 2.5 hours, but I was like, it doesn't feel like enough's happened. I don't want the movie to end yet, and I know it's not going to be a complete story.
And it's going to wrap up soon. So it either is going to be a really quick, like a lot of things are going to wrap up in the next 20 minutes, or
There's a part where they're trying to escape by flying their helicopter through like a sandstorm, and it kind of for a minute there seemed like the end of the movie was going to be them like just disappearing,
enveloped by
and then that's just it. And I'm like, I don't want that to be the end. Like after I've sat through all this, but it didn't feel like it had been that long. Okay. So I kind of felt like I'm like, okay, we've established everything now. I felt after the 2 hour mark, I'm like, we've done what is traditionally the first half an hour of the movie. You know, usually like in an hour and a half movie, you get like a fucking 20 minutes of setup, and then you get like, you know, your first, second, and third act are all half an hour long. The first 2 hours of that movie, I was so engrossed in learning about the story and working everything out and getting all set up that it felt like half an hour.
Because it
was really excellent. Yeah. And it's so visually captivating that you kind of forget. I will say, if you go to Titan Luxe in Newmarket, there was a glare on the screen.
Oh.
And it was there the whole time. It wasn't the movie. It might have been the movie, but like it wasn't part of the filming of the movie.
We've seen things on Titan Luxe that wasn't there.
I'd never noticed it before, but it might have just been exactly where I was sitting that you see it. But there was a glare on the screen that kind of took up like, you know, as you're looking at the screen, the equivalent of like,
was it,
you know, this much of your vision. It's just like a little streak of glare. And that was kind of took me out of it a couple of times because you've got this really like almost
massive screen,
matte painting of a scene where because of the way he lights it and everything, and it's all browns and blacks and sepia and stuff, where there's little blue glare on the thing really takes you out of it. So I don't know.
All right. Well, when I see it, I'll let you know if that's the same.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But
well, I'm glad you dug it, man.
It was
dug
it. Hey, diggity dug it.
Did Doug dug it?
Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. Yeah, look, it was fucking sick, and I couldn't give two fucks about Timothée Chalamet, but he sold it. He sold it really well. You know, everyone's like, "Oh my god, he's the hottest new thing," and I'm like, I don't actually know any other thing he's been in. I'm getting to that age now where I'm like, who the fuck is this? I don't know who this is. Not that it matters to me because the movie matters more than it being someone I know.
I did see someone say, well, first of all, he said, like he himself, Timothée, said something the other day where it was like, an older actor that he really respected said, don't ever do superhero movies.
Yep.
Which I was like, oh, bummer. Because I saw someone say that he would be like the perfect casting for a Robin to Ben Affleck's Batman.
Yeah, okay. I get that.
It's just like he's old and grizzly.
Yeah.
Sort of, he's not young, but he's thin and wiry. He's got the body of an acrobat.
Yeah.
Like he would be a perfect Dick Grayson.
Yeah. No, okay, I get that for sure.
I was like, damn, that would be great.
Yeah, it's funny actually that that we've ended up with Tom Holland as Spider-Man as well, because it's similar sort of thing. He's got a face that kind of suits anything, and like probably would have been a really good Robin as well. Yeah.
I saw today Tom Holland announced he's been cast as Fred Astaire.
Yeah,
and I was like, damn, that is perfect.
Bang on.
Because I mean, he was Billy Elliot.
Yeah, he's a dancer as well. Yeah, for sure.
So like, I was like, damn, that is fantastic.
He's going to kill that. Yeah, better than fucking Chaos Walking.
Oh, I've not seen that.
I've seen enough of the trailers and shit to be like, yeah, okay,
that's one
this is
where
going to
like
be trash.
There's only one woman on the planet, and
and his thoughts are public. And it, like, you know, okay, so the one thing I'll say about Dune that I was really excited about was it was effectively a new IP for me.
Yeah, okay.
And so, like, when I saw, like, I wanted to see as little imagery, know as little about the story as possible. I wanted to go in clean slate, and you know, I knew a little bit about it, but like, I just didn't want to go in there and be expecting anything.
Yeah, okay.
Just fucking lay it on me. It's nice to go to a movie.
Yeah, in this world today where everything is on a comic book or a you know, something like that. I mean, it is on a book and an IP, but this is like effectively a new experience to you.
The only other time that I've been that like like
going in clean.
Going in like super unaware on something was when I went and saw Chronicle, because Chronicle was the one that was all found footage, a bit like Cloverfield and stuff.
Yeah.
But and I've told the story on the podcast before, but that was the one where we went to go and see some shitty comedy.
That's right. You jumped out,
and we accidentally went into Chronicle, and then we're like, "Fuck, we're in the wrong movie." We went into the movie we were supposed to be in, and we're like, "This is fucking trash," and went back saw Chronicle, and Chronicle was like, this is refreshing because I knew nothing about this movie. It's a reasonably fresh way of doing a movie.
Things,
and I was like, that's fucking sick. And Dune was much the same. Like, it was super cool. I forget what my point was. What was the movie we just talked about before Dune? We were just talking about Timothée
Dexter.
Chalamet. No. Fred Astaire. And there was another thing.
Blade Runner. Just going on the same director?
No, I can't remember. There was just something that I was essentially a new IP for me.
Chronicle.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I like the idea of going and seeing something that is fresh and I don't know fuck all about it.
Yep.
Because it's so rare now. It's so fucking rare.
Yeah.
Like what was the last movie that you remember seeing that wasn't like, and I know this is a loaded question for you because you almost only watch existing IP movies.
Sort of. I watched one recently, Oscar Isaac, but it also might be based on a book, but I don't know. But I saw it's called The Card Counter.
Okay, yeah.
It's excellent.
Right.
It's brutal.
Oscar Isaac.
Yeah.
It can't go wrong.
He
like Ex Machina was fucking amazing.
Yeah, totally. But The Card Counter, I don't know if it's out in Australia yet, but I saw it on a streaming site. But
no, Tim,
don't throw me with a good time, Doug.
You're nasty.
Yeah, but it's essentially he was like a young Marine who was he was given a posting at Guantanamo.
Yeah,
and was put under the sort of command of like a real brutal sort of sadist kind of thing, right, who would treat the refugees and supposed criminals and all that sort of stuff and like interrogate them and all that sort of stuff quite heavily. And essentially he was the one that got caught bashing and, interrogating and being quite, so he was commanded to do a bunch of stuff, found he was quite good at it, and then just continued, and then eventually got caught doing it. So he then went to prison for a number of years, and while he was in prison, learned to count cards while he was playing cards with, he had lots of time.
Yeah.
And so when he came out, he became part of like professional or, amateur poker tournaments and stuff like that.
Okay.
And and so he it's brutal. So he's sort of, he is like he participates in these like tournaments, but he also like takes like professional hits. So he'll do
right, and
that's sort of his way of moving around, is doing the professional tournaments and stuff like that. And he sort of takes on the cause of this young guy that he meets. And when
you say professional hits, as in like killing people, yeah,
because he's quite good at it.
Yeah.
But very interesting and there's lots of twists and turns.
Skills.
Yeah, essentially. But he's just and he's like this real like regimented routine sort of dude. Like he's
actually. Another fantastic non-IP movie, I believe it's non-IP, was...
Are you going to say The Accountant?
The Accountant.
Yes, because it's very similar.
The Accountant was like super fucking cool.
Oh my God.
And I wanted more of that because they got him...
There's a sequel coming.
I was going to say there has to be because who was his brother in that was... I
can't remember.
I think was it John Bernthal?
Yeah, it could have been.
I think it might have been John Bernthal.
Yeah.
Was his brother in that, and they like, once again, fucking spoiler alert for The Accountant. Amazing movie. If you haven't seen it, go fucking see it.
So yeah, Ben Affleck's he's autistic.
Yeah, he's an autistic guy who is an accountant for like a forensic accountant.
Forensic accountant. That's it. Yeah.
Forensic accountant, but also is like a
hitman for hire.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because he's like super particular and like meticulous, and that's just his thing. I just
love how like when things go to chaos, he's just so like, oh, this is putting me out of my routine.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like he's so uncomfortable when things go like not how he planned.
Yeah, yeah.
Or an unknown variable is thrown into it. He's just like,
yeah,
fuck, this makes me uncomfortable. Like,
yeah, now that I've got to go and fucking kill all these
now
people.
Now I've got to kill that person. Damn it. Like, I've got to clean this up. Like, he's a good person, but he doesn't like overall, but like he knows he's got this job that he has to do, and isn't it funny
tough.
How
movies blur those lines for us? We're just like, well, he's a good,
I'm
he's
on
like,
his side.
It's like John Wick. You're just like, man, John Wick's so fucking cool. Like, I'm so on his side, but he, as one person, just killed like 300 people because someone killed his dog.
Yeah,
like that's pretty fucked up.
I was having this conversation on the weekend around
shit movie.
Let's go back to Dexter again.
Okay,
but then also the TV show You.
I haven't seen it. I heard a lot about it.
So Joe Goldberg, his character in that, is a sociopath. He's a psychopath. So Dexter and him, I was saying there are actually so many women who are into both Dexter and Joe Goldberg.
Right.
They're just like, oh, he's just so hot and you're just like, what? This person kills people.
Yeah.
Like Joe is just very like, you've inconvenienced me. I'm going to end you.
Right.
Dexter has a code at least, but still horrendous killer.
Hollywood has done a really good job of making us really back the worst people.
Yeah,
but it's because we got tired of the hero.
Yeah, the anti-hero is a real like to me, because getting back to John Bernthal, the Punisher.
Yeah,
like and it really comes down to your interpretation of it, because there's a lot of right-wing people and even like cops in America who use the Punisher as a symbol for like justifying violence towards people that they don't think have moral fiber or stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if you go back to like, I'm pretty sure it was Steve Ditko and Stan Lee, who wrote the character, created the character, they're just like, no way. That like co-opting this character for that purpose is not what we, what the character is about. And even John Bernthal himself was like, don't you dare put that symbol on these sorts of
because that's
causes.
That's not him at all. Yeah.
No. And there was a time really early on, so maybe 99, when the first time I decided I was going to get a tattoo, I damn near put the Punisher symbol on myself.
Yeah.
I decided not to in the end. Mostly, I think out of just like complete immaturity, in that I was like, oh, I just want something real badass.
Yeah.
And I wanted like a skull, right?
Yeah.
And I ended up getting this is a cover up.
Right.
My first tattoo was about here.
Right.
And it's the skull that Boba Fett has on his armor.
Right.
It's like the mythosaur skull.
Yeah.
But I had that covered up, and the only part of it that you can still see is like the glare invaders thing. There is a space in the original. So Chris Bartlett did an amazing job.
Yeah, he did an excellent job. Yeah. But also, like, he mate of ours that's a tattooist is fucking really into Star Wars as well.
Exactly.
And like, it would be like, it's got to be perfect.
Yeah.
Can't get this wrong.
Correct. So I damn near, instead of getting that, I damn near got the Punisher symbol.
Yeah.
And which I would have really regretted, I think, down the line. Because one, I like the Punisher, but I'm also not like the world's biggest Punisher fan. I don't know why I would have put that on me.
Yeah.
At that time, being 17, 18, I think I was just like, I just want something badass. And also the comic, like that movie didn't exist yet either.
Yeah,
The Steve Jane movie, it didn't exist yet.
Yeah.
So it was also like there was a bit of a like, it's a bit of an obscure comic reference kind of thing. It was all a lot of like, I want to be cool and
I'm glad that
put something obscure on me.
I wasn't as like interested in tattoos when I was younger because like,
would you have put something real stupid?
Well, no, I just don't. I really like music, and I feel like I've really had some good creative streaks with writing music, and I'm really interested in like movies and blah 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 blah. But when it comes to like art, I don't really, I don't visually have. Like I'm not compelled. Whereas I've got mates that have got like really like crazy sleeves and this particular kind of styles of art. Like I've got a mate that's really into shout out Curtis, who just got a really old school like sun, and he's into like ancient Roman Empire stuff sort of. So like he all just ancient history he's really into.
Sick.
And so he's got like this big sort of like god tattoo, like a Zeus kind of looking thing, and everything's really like, you know, I don't know what the best way to describe it is, but it's got this gothic essentially. Okay. Overall, it's very gothic.
Sick.
And so he's really into that, and so he's been getting lots of tattoos like that. For me, if I was when I was 18, I just would have got like the logo and or album art of all the bands I sweat at the time. It would have been, but it would
Audio Slave and the stars from the DC comic logo.
Right.
That's about as creative as I got.
And that's what I mean is I don't know whether I'd have any more. Even right now, I couldn't name a particular thing that I am so adamant about
that you would get.
I would get. And so I don't. Yeah, that's why I still don't have tattoos.
Clean skin.
It's not been I don't want tattoos. It's just there's nothing that I've seen, or there's nothing I can imagine. I can't go like I go to a tattoo artist and be like, hey, I think I want like, you know, fucking like this, or the people that are like, oh, I want a fucking like a chick, you know, sitting in a rose that's got this fucking symbol on her, or those kind of, because I got mates that have lots of tattoos of like the really traditional ones of like fucking almost Sailor Jerry looking stuff.
Yeah.
None of that stuff clicks
appeals.
With me. Yeah, I just don't get it. So
at the moment, so my sister has actually said to me she's going to buy me a tattoo voucher for Christmas, which like I've been like, oh my God, I've been saying it for years.
Yeah,
like please. And she brought it up. She's like, I just saw this on this Instagram page. Do you want a voucher? I was like, oh my God, yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
and so I rang her the other day and I said, look, I've had this idea. I really want, because she's the one giving it to me for Christmas, that whatever I use it for, I want to put something on me that represents the relationship I have with her.
Yeah, okay, yeah, for sure.
And something that like I think I want to like go right back to when we were kids, right? So one of the first Christmases where we were both, you know, sort of we got the things that we wanted, like where we are, you know, where we were old enough to ask for things that we wanted.
Yeah.
We were given these DC Comics Superpowers TV, like figurines. And I really wanted a Superman, but as you can imagine, Superman was sold out because it was like the most popular one. But so, and these were like some of the, and I still have all of these toys. I was given Green Lantern. It was Hal Jordan Green Lantern.
Yeah.
She was given Wonder Woman.
Yep.
And I also got Penguin and Joker. I got the villains.
A very DC family.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And like we went and saw when Wonder Woman came out, the movie, like my sister happened to be in Brisbane. And so we went to like the premiere of Wonder Woman here in Brisbane. It was like one of my favorite things that I've done with my sister.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Like it was just a really special night because like that character means a lot to her. And you know, that's our earliest memories. We have that bond, right?
Yeah.
So I was thinking about getting something like there's Green Lantern and Wonder Woman. I want to get like something involving those two. And so I've actually tracked down and sourced like, so on there's like specific art that was created for the card backs for.
You're such a fucking nerd, Tim, and I love it.
Yeah,
I love
I've
it
tracked
so
down
much.
high res versions of that, of the artwork on the card for each of those characters.
So specific.
And I think I want to get that. And around the Superpowers logo is like all these sort of like stylized stars like going up.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to frame them in these stars. Like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what I want to do.
Yeah, no, that's sick.
Yeah.
That's sick. You know, all of the tattoo ideas that I've had have all been based around like lyrics that are like vaguely
Meaningful to you.
Well, yeah, I guess vaguely meaningful to me, but only in the sense that like I really like the lyric, but it's not that it particularly means a thing personally or about me, but just a lyric that I'm like, that's such a good perspective on things.
Yeah.
But then also it's always kind of vaguely nihilistic. They're the things that I lean towards. I had a big conversation yesterday with a mate of mine, Curtis, actually, about nihilism and about how, you know, there's a lot of people that are realists that get sort of tarred with the nihilist brush.
They're casters like just downers.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
But, you know, really there's a lot of, you know, not to get too deep about it, but there's a lot of things where I go, well, look, you know, I love like my friends and my family and life is meaningful to me, definitely. But also
everything means nothing.
Everything
and
means,
the void is eternal.
Yeah. And if I got hit by a bus tomorrow,
inevitable.
So what kind of thing? You know, I don't have like a spirituality or a higher purpose or anything attached to my self-worth. It's also, just, you know,
I want to
you're in, you're out.
I want to acknowledge my cousin who listens to this podcast.
Yeah.
Who listens to it in the car with his kids.
Oh, right.
So like life is meaningful.
Yeah. Life is great. No, kids,
everything is fun.
Kids, life is great. Watch SpongeBob, and that's all you really need. That's all you need in your life.
Life is cool. Everything is rad.
Yeah. But the crux of it being is like the tattoo ideas I had, and I might have mentioned this on the podcast before, were like, there's a Chariot lyric that's busy, busy bee, walking to and fro. What if we close our eyes? What if we don't wake up? Which sounds really grim, but sounds really grim. But really, the meaning of that is like, don't get too caught up in shit. You know, just remember, like, you know, sort of everything is nothing and nothing is everything. Sort of, you know, just make sure that you stop and think about things occasionally. And the other one was, if I'm going home alone, I'm not going at all. It's an E-Tid lyric, which I think is it sounds kind of skeezy, but really, and it is in the context of the song, it's skeezy, but just as a separated quote, I think is really like if I can't have what I want, if I can't get my dream, well then, you know, it's like get rich or die trying. Kind of, you know, it's the, you know, if you can't have it, well, you're going to try and get it anyway.
Yeah, okay.
I like that. But the whole lyric is, I didn't wear my hair in a ponytail for nothing. So if I'm going home alone, I'm not going at all.
Fair call.
I'll put the link in the comments.
Thanks, man.
But yeah, so I don't know how we got to tattoos. we got about 15 minutes left.
Yeah, okay.
Should we, have you got a, well, do you have a movie or anything you wanted to talk about?
I think I was talking about Dexter, really, was my thing, because, I'm really enjoying Cold Blood.
Yeah, okay. I will check it out. I definitely will check it out.
It's on Paramount Plus, though, so... Yeah, look, I'll give you my login if you want, champ.
He didn't say that.
You can come and watch it at my house.
Can we all be real, though, right? No one has Foxtel anymore.
Yeah.
Like, no one has pay TV. No one. Oh, we're not alone, Tim. No one has pay TV anymore, but that, you know, is of our age bracket and has the internet and a smart TV. Almost no one has a reason to have Foxtel anymore. But we've reached the critical mass of having so many streaming services available.
Where it basically equates to one cable account.
You're paying about the same. Yeah.
You know why?
We've got the movie, but we've paid extra for the movie package, essentially.
Yeah.
So you know, I don't think I'll get Paramount. What I'll do is, and I've been doing this a lot recently.
Which ones do you have?
At the moment, I just have Netflix.
Woof.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have Netflix, Stan, Amazon, Disney, Apple TV, Paramount Plus.
I have an account for the
I'm
first
a
4 of those.
clown.
Yeah, so I have accounts for all of them. I've just stopped paying for them. But what I'm doing is I'm stacking up shows. So on Stan, I know that they brought out the rest of Billions. I was watching that and they got cut short in the pandemic. And there's a couple of other shows on Stan that I'm stacking up and I want to watch those. And so once
you'll activate that one and turn the other one off, kind of thing. Yeah,
that's kind of where I'm at with it. And not that I can't afford it, but I've just reminded myself it's like, hey, more often than not, I'm only sitting down to watch something, you know, in the gap between doing something else. So we'll have dinner and we'll watch an episode or two of a particular thing. But if I've got all of the streaming services, I'm not possibly going to get to watch all of the things that I want because I work weekends and stuff.
Yeah.
So I've been like, let's have Netflix for a month and then Stan for a month and then blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Because we're watching Cowboy Bebop at the moment.
Oh, I've started that as well. Yeah.
And I never watched I watched a few episodes of the anime when I was younger.
I've not seen anything. There's one I didn't have any of the IP on.
Yeah. See,
I know it's a famous anime. I know it's a big thing. But I also haven't watched Akira either. There's not a lot of anime I've watched. I don't.
Yeah.
It's not really something I fuck with.
A whole different train of thought, I think.
And in fact, most of the sort of anime style animation that I like was actually all American made rather than Japanese.
Yeah, well, that's like Last Airbender. My wife watched that recently. Well, recently she sorry, Brady, we had some background noise. She went through and she watched all of the Airbender series and then the series after that, which is I can't remember what that's even called. Legend of Korra.
Korra, yeah.
And so she watched all of that and then went back and watched it again. She loved it that much.
Right.
But it technically, you know, to us layman's, and I feel bad for anyone that really does like anime, they'll be like, that's not fucking anime because it's not. It's an American TV show that's an American animation. But
in the style.
But it vaguely looks like anime.
Yeah. So the ones that I was really
it's
like,
just
obviously
Asian influenced.
Yeah, like Transformers and Voltron.
Yeah.
From the 80s, like they're both.
There was a Jackie Chan fucking cartoon that I loved watching that was not anime at all, but I was like, oh, this is anime.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what I'm fucking talking about.
And I did not fuck with Dragon Ball at all.
Dude, I got mates that have done full watch throughs of that, with like gone back and rewatched all of it as sort of like an exercise in meditation, you know, like I've got a week spare. I'm just going to watch all of the Dragon Ball again. You're like, how was that? And like, oh, definitely most of it was a waste of my life, but I still really enjoyed it because I'm a masochist for, you know,
it just never appealed to me at all.
Yeah, no. And it's, I mean, I didn't watch cartoons growing up as in like,
at all.
I've phrased that wrong. I didn't watch morning cartoons growing up because I lived out of town.
Yeah. Oh, so you would have missed them because you would have had to be on a bus or something early.
We would leave home at like 7 a.m, so Mum could do the rounds. She could drop it. We got
those shows started at either 6:30 or 7.
Exactly, so and I would rather be in bed than be up to try and catch 15 minutes of a TV show. Exactly right.
So Pokemon would have passed you by. Dragon Ball Z would have passed you by.
I was militantly
Action Man would have passed you by.
I was against Pokemon. Not even that I didn't like Pokemon.
Because you thought it was a real trend. That's right.
I was like, fuck Pokemon, that's for losers. Not that I was any less of a nerd, but I was just like, I just don't like it. Too many people like it, and I'm not about it, and I'm going to be elitist about it.
Yeah.
But then I liked all the other shit. I really liked Yu-Gi-Oh! So fuck me, I guess.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
But so Brady, massive anime fan, our lovely sound guy, massive anime fan, watches more anime than anything else. And something I've noticed about it is there are some people that watch a little bit of it and dabble in it and stuff. But I really feel like there are kind of two kinds of people, is the people that watch anime and the people that don't. And not that they have to be separate as people, but I know, for example, with Brady and his wife as well.
I should also state, I'm not criticizing people or anything.
No, not at all. Me neither. An observation that I've made is that he doesn't know fucking anything about real life actors. He could hear a voice and go, I know
That's
who
that
that
guy
voice
out of
actor
Cowboy
is.
Bebop,
He
or-
was the blah,
yeah.
blah, 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 blah. But when it comes to names and faces, like I'm almost certain that, and I'm going to get messages from him later on about this. So the three that I'm going to ask you, Brady, for later on are, could you pick Ryan Reynolds out of a lineup? Could you pick...
Not even obscure people.
This is what I'm talking about.
Wow,
Is
okay.
he watches so few live action things, and a few other people that I know that are really into anime that just don't have the awareness of this other stuff because they like anime so much.
So far in
That's
that
all they,
pop
and there's
culture.
so much fucking anime. Then that's,
Yeah. Most people only know the most surface level anime. Yeah.
And if you're into it,
the fact
there's
that I can
fucking
name
lots of it.
Akira is probably like most people are like, wow.
Yeah.
But like
I've seen-
anyone's into anime, they're like, yeah, right. So you've
I love anime. I watched Howl's Moving Castle like 1.5 times.
yeah. And here we go again.
Yeah. There's a lot of background noise, isn't there? Anyway, I wanted to talk about Spotify Wrapped.
Oh yeah, okay.
So we all got assaulted with that.
Yeah.
So this will
2
come
days
out.
ago.
This will come out just before, like on Christmas Eve, I believe. So this is our Christmas episode, lol. And so a couple of weeks ago now, Spotify Wrapped thing came out, and it just everyone assaulted social media with it. And as you normally get with anything that there's too much of, you get all the memes about like no one gives a fuck about your Spotify Wrapped.
Yeah.
Shut up about Spotify Wrapped. But
Now we're also getting like Spotify fucks over artists. Why are you giving them free advertising memes
that
as
too,
well? Yeah.
because there are a lot of people that were like, oh my god, I love like Spotify Wrapped Day, not shilling for them, but just being like, oh, this is like a an exciting, like when a festival gets announced and everyone talks about the bands and shit. It's like, oh, let's talk about this, but then inherently it's advertising for them.
Yeah.
But so I didn't want to talk about what our top songs were. I wanted to talk about like what's the song that you didn't expect to see in your top like 100 list. It gives you the playlist of them.
I mean, this is the thing. Like, it's not that I didn't expect it. I knew it'd be in there because, like I said,
the
the other
funniest
week,
song then.
well, I mean, the closest to the top in there, that's probably like the funniest. And it's not even that funny, really. It's just that like I have an 80s like playlist that I just really love.
Yeah.
And like the two like within the like top 5 or so were Cream by Prince.
Yeah.
And Hall & Oates, You Make My Dreams Come True.
Right.
It's just it just slaps.
Man, I fucking love me a bit of Prince, hey?
Yeah, oh man.
Purple Rain is just fucking...
Yeah.
There's so much other good Prince.
Diamonds and Pearls is the one for me, man. That
Yeah.
there's just so much going on in the instrumentation of that song. It just gets me every time. There's just like a big breakdown about 2/3 of the way through Diamonds and Pearls. That's god damn it.
The other thing is too with Prince is that he's such a no pun intended, but like a symbol more than anything. And he had this like this aura about him that it's like doesn't matter who you are or what you like or like Prince walks into a room and I just imagine fucking the whole vibe changes. Everything's just fucking.
I mean, Jimmy Fallon tells a story about how Prince invited him to like a ping pong club,
right?
To play table tennis with him.
Yeah,
and like he just got this text going, "Come to this place and play me in ping pong."
Right.
And he's like, "Okay, Prince is summoning me. I better go." So he turns up, and it goes down, and it's just like all these like individual booths that are like curtained off with ping pong tables in them.
Right.
And like he went into the area and no one was there, and then like Prince just like comes through the curtain in like a fog, like
floats across.
Yeah, and then like proceeds to just and it's much the same as the Dave Chappelle story where he decimates him in basketball.
Yeah.
Prince just absolutely demolishes him on the ping pong table, and then like because he like Jimmy Fallon had like texted Questlove and was like, dude, like, come like
hanging out with Prince.
Yeah, Prince is like, be there, hurry up.
Yeah.
And like the game was so fast. And then like because he just got demolished. And as quickly as he appeared,
He was gone.
he was gone.
Into the night.
And then like Questlove was at the door, and then he just sees like Prince's limo, just like driving off, and he comes down the stairs and meets Jimmy, and he's like, "Dude, I thought you said you were playing Prince."
He's like, I did.
He said, "I did," and that was enough.
Yeah, yeah.
He's gone.
He came and went. Yeah.
And Quest is like, "Man, you must have like got smashed because like
just Prince is just good at everything.
yeah. So yeah,
was good at everything.
I didn't mind that. I was like,
Yeah.
that's
Rest in Prince.
That's a hell of a story.
Hey, look, I've heard so many crazy Prince stories. I actually don't even remember any of them. But if there's one thing that I was fucking super impressed about was I read about it and then I went and watched the YouTube video, and I'll have to try and remember
Is this
and
the
link
Kevin
it.
Smith one?
Oh, maybe.
Where he goes to film a document, like he asked Kevin Smith to come and film a documentary.
No, not that at all. No, his Super Bowl. I remember now why I went and watched this.
Okay.
So Justin Timberlake played the Super Bowl a couple years ago.
Yep.
And I watched that, and it was
Not the Nipplegate.
No, not Nipplegate.
Yeah,
It was
okay,
it's the more recent, like when he did the Man of the Woods tour and stuff, and he did that. And I loved it.
Great album, by the way.
Well, I didn't listen to the whole album, but a lot of the songs I heard off it, I fucking really liked.
Yeah.
And he did that one with old mate Chris Stapleton, the country singer that does Tennessee Whiskey, and they did a live version of this song that they'd written together, where they did the music video for it was a one take live thing in this like building that was like a hollow building and had like some lifts and stuff in it, but you could in the middle of it was all like, you know, balcony mezzanine sort of in the middle, and they did a live mic'd just fully one take video clip, and that was it. And I'll have to link that as well.
Yeah, please do.
Amazing. It was so fucking good.
So Justin Timberlake, Super Bowl, Prince.
So I watched Justin Timberlake Super Bowl, and I was like, that was fucking sick. I really enjoyed that. He did such a good job. And then I saw underneath that there was Prince's one. And I was like, I have to watch Prince's one. Why wouldn't I watch that?
Shreds so hard.
So there's a little bit of preamble before it, like on the video that uploaded, that it was pissing rain that night. And his stage was a big open, not undercover stage in the middle of the thing, as it is. And so they were going to call it off and say, look, no, let's not do it, because Prince is in his fucking, you know, purple velvet suit, and he's got fucking like 4-inch heels on.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, it's too wet out there. It's too dangerous. You know, fuck, we're not going to do it. People are going to slip over, get hurt, and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, it's the fucking Super Bowl. The show must go on, motherfuckers. We're not doing the show. Whoa. And so he went out there in heels and did his fucking 3 or 4 songs or whatever out on there and killed it. And he's fucking like, you know, doing like drop saws and stuff and like fucking dancing and singing and playing, and just did the whole fucking thing in the rain. And it was just the most magical, incredible thing to watch.
That now.
And yeah, it's fucking excellent, man. It's such a good watch. But you just watch that and you go, that motherfucker just doesn't know any other way to live. Then show must go on. Everything is a show, but in the most sincere way. Yeah, you know, like
cool.
Oh, just fucking amazing.
And so, what was your song?
Rasputin. So
Russia's Greatest Love Machine.
Russia's Greatest Love Machine. So the
Boney M version.
No, it was a shitty remix. Very shitty remix. The reason that was in there, and the upsetting thing about the Spotify Wrapped is I wish I could tweak the settings to omit certain things, because I use Spotify for like sleeping, for studying, for
in between sets of gigs.
Exactly. So a lot of the same songs get played a lot. And so I got this shitty playlist that I was given by a venue to use, where they want like a little bit of doof going on between my sets. And so the first song on that playlist is Rasputin's remix. And so I hit play on that every time, and that's what's come up. And so you look through my playlist, right, and it's mostly like there's number 1 was Red Room by Hiatus Coyote, because that's a nice repetitive song, and I put it on underneath shit. Everything in my top 5 except an E-Tid song was was all just study and relaxation music.
Right.
And then there was almost the entire Radical by Every Time I Die album.
Checks out.
Or so much Dance Gavin Dance, because I listen to that when I do fucking.
I did see that. I was like, yeah, my boy,
yeah,
listen to some Dance Gavin Dance.
So much of that. A lot of my mates' bands and stuff like Salt Money and fucking and like Lumens and shit. But so. What was I going to say was, I wish I could tweak the settings to omit like particular albums and particular playlists
or
and
listening
stuff.
hours.
Yeah, so I can see
between like midnight and 6 a.m.
that too. Yeah, so I can actually
so you can cut out your sleep playlist
and look at the things that I listened to for the year that I gave more than one listen.
But how do you tell a machine that? What's the difference between active listening and background listening? Your machine can't learn that.
Well, but I know.
You got to plug those rules in.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. But I know. So I should be able to go,
here's the parameters.
Yeah, well, when you edit the playlist, should be able to go omit fucking, this, that, and the other. And like, or be able to go through the playlist. But
that would be gaming your rap.
Here's my top 100 fucking songs, and then I go through and I remove all the songs that shouldn't be in it, and then it regenerates the next 100.
Then, that's the thing.
I want the next 100. I want the warmest 100. Yeah. Yeah, because then that gives me.
But that would be gaming it, man.
Because but what I want out of it is I want it to give me like. I think they might have even done this. I want to hear the songs that I definitely listen to more than once, as in like listen to around 10 times in a year, but then I've forgotten about. Because how many times do you find a band that's sick?
Yeah.
And there's so many other bands, especially for you in your line of work.
It's hard putting together. I put together my top 10 list today.
Yeah.
It's tough, man.
Yeah.
And then like I did a top 10 international bands.
Yeah.
And then a top 10 Australian. So top 10 international albums for the year.
Yeah.
Top 10 Australian albums.
Yeah.
And then top 10 EPs.
Right.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. Immediately start getting, what about?
Well,
what about? What about? And you're like, yeah, I considered all of those. Like anything you throw at me, like, what about Gojira? Yeah, I considered them. They didn't make the 10.
Yeah.
What about Mastodon? Yeah, I considered that as well.
But it's also your 10.
Yeah.
Anyone that fucking comes and tells you how to rank your favorite shit can fuck off.
No, it was okay because I did put, what are your thoughts? What are, whatever on it. But also I was sort of like, please don't think I didn't consider these records.
Yeah. There's always that caveat.
I did. Like I agonized over this.
Yeah. No, well, I often think about I've stopped doing it, but I used to have a Google Keep note where every time there was an album that like really crossed over into like I'm really addicted to this album, I'd write it down on this note so I wouldn't forget about it because I don't have a CD collection anymore.
Yeah.
And so therefore I don't have like a shelf of like, this is the shit that I keep, this is the shit that I like. And so periodically, like every, few years, someone will mention a band. I'm like, that album meant so much to me and I forgot it fucking existed.
Yeah.
Oh, someone's doing some
Doughy's on the top of McWhirters.
Spinny boys down there. Yeah. But yeah, so like I for me, I've always been like this because I'm a bit of a nostalgia fucking queen, and I try not to be too attached to the past, but also there's things where I go, that album means a lot to me, but it's not an album that I'm going to listen to all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't want to forget about it because I'm terrified of like the way I feel like nothing is sort of permanent nowadays with the way that everything is,
online.
You've got this fucking fire hose that is Spotify. So you save an album in a playlist or something, but then you forget, you don't, it's not a physical, tangible fucking thing.
Yeah.
And also, man, I want to know, do you have like a little cache of like MP3s of songs that don't exist anywhere else, or like EPs from bands that that don't exist anymore, that that if you lost that copy that you had of that, you'll never get that again?
I've backed them all up and they're in my iTunes library, which is all in my iCloud and all that sort of stuff.
So many amazing EPs.
I've got a lot of like obviously I have all the Epidemic Over demos and all that sort of stuff. I'll never lose any of that. I have. I'm one of very, very, very few people who up until at least this new record that they're recording right now, Butterfly Effect, I'm the only other person who has every other thing they've recorded that hasn't been released.
Right.
Because when I did the vinyl and made up that, I sat with the band and put together the actual track list for, like, there's a thing on Spotify and iTunes, whatever, called B-Sides, Live and Rarities.
Yeah.
That's not all of it.
Right.
Like I think there's something like 37 tracks or something in there.
Shit.
But there's entire other demos and stuff that I've got a folder full of in my Dropbox that are like, no one will ever hear them.
Right.
Like, I've got them. I respect the band, so I'll never ever leak those. Like, never ever. But
yeah, because that's their currency.
That's yeah. But like, there's a lot of stuff in there. They would, like, when we were discussing what to put into that release, they were just like that. So much of it, they were like, that is embarrassing. Like, we don't. But there's so much of it that is like early versions of songs that made it to Final Conversations of Kings and stuff.
Yeah. So,
like, there's a track on there. What's the big long 10-minute track that it starts with?
I'm not really a
There's a very early version.
Buff.
Yeah, butts buff. Hang on. Spotify.
Because there's also like YouTube videos that I fucking are part of my personality that don't exist
World's
anymore.
on Fire.
Right.
So World's on Fire. I have a version. I have a version of that song that's like, the World's on Fire is essentially 3 songs stitched together.
Right.
So the early versions of those 3 songs I have. So one of them is called Face Painted for War.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's like, it's just really cool to see the origins of how that song came about.
And the link will not be in the bio.
Yeah, correct. But like, it's brilliant. Like, it's brilliant to just see the evolution from that to what we got.
Yeah. No, that's what I love. I love that old. I love the whole B-sides and rarity stuff because you really get, or just like, original. There's some bands where Dillinger is a fucking amazing example of that. Is they popped just around when phone cameras were getting really popular with everyone.
Yep.
And I don't think it was a phone camera that this was filmed on necessarily, but there are a lot of phone camera videos of them and the videos of them where they like go on tour and they were taking video of them on the road with their phone cameras. So there's some of that shit uploaded. But the video of Dillinger playing at the Virgin Megastore is a time capsule for everybody. You don't even have to be like a Dillinger fan. It's like, that's a snapshot of that time that this band, that's this insane, like, small band that doesn't have a huge following, but have brought out this like fucking seminal record that, like, this underground scene really likes. But the internet was not yet big enough for them to be a widespread name, but they get asked to play the Virgin Megastore, which is like a fucking shopping mall.
Yeah.
And there's people standing on the escalators and all this, like, this huge crowd that's rocked up, and they start their set with a fucking head walk out into the crowd. Greg just runs straight out into the crowd and fucking crowd surfs back onto the stage again. And it's the most insane thing you'll ever see in your fucking life.
In a shopping mall.
But it was in a shopping mall. But there's that on the internet as like a time capsule of like, this is what that scene was like at the time. And without those little live recordings and things that are saved, you lose the perspective of, Yeah. And it's like all the artists that would have been around before recordings existed.
Yeah.
Think of all like the origins of like blues and rock and roll that we missed out on, like everything pre-Robert Johnson.
Yeah.
There wasn't recordings of those.
Well, there
guys.
was, but they were like those wax tubes.
Yeah,
I can't even remember what they're called, but they're literally a tube.
But there will be artists that were fantastic, like singer-songwriters and instrumentalists and stuff that weren't composers, so there won't be records of the music that they wrote. there's also no recording of them doing anything, and they're just completely lost to time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fucking weird to me. So
Speaking of, I'm aware we probably don't have much time.
we're an hour 10, yeah.
But have you ever played a pianola?
No.
So like you can get those rolls that like it's a song.
Yeah.
And you don't have to play them.
We have one at home actually.
A pianola?
No, a roll that someone gave us that was
and
of
you
a song
play-
that's
you-
like a
There's pedals.
Yeah.
And you got it, and it actually plays the song. So you just get,
Westworld.
yeah.
Bang
on.
Yeah, that was fucking sick actually.
So yeah, I had a friend whose parents had one, and they had because they were the kind of people that had holiday in the UK all the time. They'd been to the UK just about every year of their life. They were pretty well off, and they just had a massive collection of pianola rolls,
Right.
and just like every James Bond theme song they had on as a pianola roll, and you get on there and you'd be like playing Goldfinger.
But so the whole idea of the pedals is that you're using that to turn the wheel.
And but also you control the speed of it as well.
Yeah.
There's like a real rhythm you need to have.
Yeah.
I've had a go at it. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard. And like, you don't even have to play the keys.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep up and have it play in a constant time. Like
it reminds
it's
me.
hard work.
Reminds me of there was a game they had on Spicks and Specs where they had a bike set up to like a record player, and it was the speed for the turntable.
But each record was also at a different
size.
Yeah, so they might have to speed up or slow down.
Yeah.
Each new song. I remember that was a great game.
Yeah, such a great game. Yeah, so they'd go to the next song and it would be at a different speed. So, they'd be like, slow down, or go faster, or whatever. And then you got to keep it steady because otherwise it just sounds wobbly and fucked. And yeah. No, I really like that. That was fucking sick. That was sick as. But one more thing I will say about, so at the moment, I've got some playlists on like YouTube where I've got like a funny playlist where I've saved some like meme videos and shit that I like, and occasionally you go back through and it'll be like, oh, video removed, and I don't know what the video was that was removed, and so now that's lost. Not only do I not know where to find that again now, but I don't even know what it was. So it doesn't. I wish they grayed it out, but because it gets removed, they're just like, oh, that's not available anymore.
I mean, don't worry, mate. It's probably just like a monkey sniffing at its own farts or something.
It'll be something like that. Yeah.
You're pining for something you thought you lost.
There was some really,
it's actually really just
dumb shit meme videos that I've saved. Yeah, for sure. But Rhodey Walker used to do
a Vine
thing,
compilation 2007 or something.
I don't really save those so much. I save a lot of like the 30-second sort of like meme songs and things like that, or like there's, I don't know. My funny playlist is very eclectic. There's some shit that just does it for me, just tickles me.
Mate, you make it sound like that meme where it's like it's a 50 Shades of Grey meme where it's like I have a sort of specific taste.
Yeah.
Would you like to see my pleasure room or whatever it is? And it's like, would you like to see my meme playlist?
Yeah.
I'm a man of very specific pleasure. Would you like to see my meme playlist?
I think you can tell a lot about a person by looking at their meme playlist for sure. For sure. Or they're saved on Instagram. Yeah.
What side of TikTok they're on.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they've gamed that without even trying. They don't know. They've put themselves there.
Yeah.
Based on their preferences.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck, man. Sometimes, I think about going back and just starting fresh accounts on things just to see
if you end up in the same place again.
Yeah, that's it. Because on YouTube, I'm definitely.
Is this really me, or did I influence this?
I'm very bored of my YouTube recommendations because it's always the same shit, and it's usually stuff that I've either seen or I'm not getting enough random shit in my feed anymore. It's annoying me because sometimes I'm like, I don't want to watch the same shit I always watch. Give me something else. But that's such a fucking white boy complaint. It's such a privileged first world problem to have. To be like, my YouTube isn't recommending me enough random shit, but then it does recommend me random shit, and it's kind of funny. But then, I don't know.
It doesn't tickle me quite the right way I want it to.
I was going to say, so Rhodey Walker is the last thing I'll say because we should wrap it up.
What is Rhodey Walker?
Rhodey Walker, the singer from Protest the Hero. You should know that.
Right, sorry. No, I didn't know the name.
What is a Rhodey Walker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying like roadie, as in ROADIE, like
Right,
a person who works backstage at a show.
Well, so Rhodey Walker, otherwise known as Rode the Chode, is what they used to call him all the time, and he called himself that. And so he actually, there's a picture of him on stage when he was like 20 or whatever, and it's a white T-shirt, and it's got the man with an arrow pointing up to his head, and then the Chode pointing down. No, sorry, not the man. It's the road, obviously. So yeah, pointing up, it says the road, the Chode. Yeah, just excellent.
Oh, that got me.
Yeah, the road,
that's
the
fantastic.
Chode. But so he had, back when like YouTube was pretty fledgling, he had a vlog that he did that was called Chode Blog.
Yeah, okay.
And it was just
could go wrong.
It was just random ramblings that because he's not a comedian, but he was definitely the kind of guy that he just likes to be the funny dude.
Yeah, okay.
And so he would just film himself walking around in his house talking shit. And some of my favorite references with my friends come from those videos, but of course he's grown up and decided, this is dumb shit,
and just
took
deleted
it all down.
Right.
And so it's all fucking lost to history. So there's all these little references that I have with my mates that we don't have any source material
point it
for.
out. You can't even point it out to people.
Yeah, there's no point fucking explaining it. And so, yeah, like shit like that I wish I'd saved. So I beg of you, if there's a video on YouTube or something that you really, that's something that, is a dumb thing but is like a part of your personality, and it's the thing that you go back and watch every now and again, and it gives you, reconnects you with a part of yourself, download that shit.
You're just reminding me of like, and we'll finish on this, of in Billy Madison when he goes back to see he's been in high school and he's getting bullied.
Yeah.
And he goes back to see the kids in primary school.
Yeah.
He's like, I wish I could be a grown up so I can go to school and so I can go to high school.
Yeah.
And Billy's like, you got to cherish it. You do. Like that's what I'm getting from you. Like,
yeah, 100%.
You got to cherish it.
Also,
you got to keep the memes.
I didn't like what I only saw that movie like a couple times, but like
Billy Madison.
Yeah. Like I watch a lot of Adam Sandler movies a lot, but I only watched that movie a couple times, so I don't remember that specifically.
It's actually my favorite.
But can I say that exactly that sentiment? 100% true. High school, the whole time I was at high school, I was like, I know these are the good old days.
Yeah.
Fucking hold on. And everyone that's like, fuck high school, I want to get out of high school, I'm sick of being here, this is bullshit, I want to go out and be an adult. I'm like, no, you fucking don't. You absolutely don't. You're going to leave high school and you're going to wish you went back. And a lot of people still were like, nah, I'm glad I got out of it. But I'm like, now as an adult, like you look back on that and you know that was it was for most people.
So easy.
It's the easiest part of your life. It's a part of the life where you're becoming the person that you're going to be.
Yeah.
And it's your opportunity to just really soak shit up and really fucking.
Obviously, we acknowledge that there are people who have a real shit time at high school.
100%. Once again, a very privileged position to be in to say that. But I had friends that were like,
I was
fuck
bullied
this.
at high school, but. But
it wasn't great for everyone.
No, but once I found music, I was good.
Yeah.
So I think it was just down to like I didn't really know who I was.
Yeah.
And then when I knew who I was, I had the confidence to be like, oh, fuck all that other shit. I don't care.
And I don't think I really got bullied not because I was a cool kid at all, but because my parents had armed me with just. One, don't react to that shit, and two,
don't give them the time of day.
Don't give it the time of the day, because the kind of people that kind of bully you are people that are generally shitty people.
Drop kicks.
And fucking, I always found that to be true. I never found that to be proven wrong. I was never like, wow, this person is really cool and I want to be this person, even though they're a shitty person.
Yeah.
Was not brought up like that. So yeah, but once again, cherish it.
You got to
cherish it. Bye, guys. Love you. Bye.